When I first heard that Elon Musk had sold his final house in California, to be honest, I thought nothing of it. But when I learned what actually happened, I decided I just had to share it with you. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the Electric Viking. My name is Sam Evans. Great to have you here on the channel. Welcome to all the new subscribers. Great to have you all. Welcome back to everyone else. Thank you to our Patreon supporters on the channel. Really appreciate what you do. Now, what exactly happened here? This is actually a fascinating story. There's a lot more than meets the eye. Now, Simon Alvarez from Teslarati says that in a world inundated by negativity, controversy, and now war, by the way, SpaceX has helped Ukraine with their satellite internet services. That's pretty cool. But small acts of kindness matter right now, and I would agree. They may not hold a lot of never-before-seen information, nor do they include the latest shocking thing that today's influencers are engaged in, but they do from time to time tell a remarkably human story, and this small act is quite an interesting story. I mean, really, we often think of billionaires as being these oligarchs, these evil people who own so much wealth that, they couldn't possibly be good. And often the media intentionally portrays them that way in order to create a narrative to make us believe that extreme wealth creates bad people. Not always true, it turns out. The tale of late Hollywood legend Gene Wilder's home and how it made it back to the actor's family are a surprising turn of events. This is one very interesting story involving Elon Musk that you might not have heard of. Back in 2020, Tesla CEO Elon Musk announced that he would be offloading all of his properties in California as a way to trim down his possessions to become a minimalist. Musk, who owned Gene Wilder's house, noted that whoever purchased the home would have to keep it. In other words, he didn't want them to knock down this house because it's quite a unique house with some very interesting features, and Musk perceived that, someone would come along and knock down the house and build some sort of big, luxurious property on there, and he didn't want them to do that. So in other words, he was willing to take less money in order to have their house preserved. Musk made a few little changes to the house, though. He put on a Tesla solar roof and he installed some Tesla electric batteries. Other than that, it's the same as what it was when Wilder left. Now, filings actually eventually revealed the true story of what happened when Elon sold this house. The estate was sold to an LLC whose sole manager was listed as Elizabeth Hunter, a screenwriter and TV producer who happens to be married to filmmaker Jordan Walker Perlman, who is Wilder's nephew. But the story gets stranger from here. Walker Perlman recently shared with the Wall Street Journal that his purchase of his late uncle's home from Musk had been a rather unique experience. In other words, this story comes from him, not from Elon himself. So Elon isn't crowing about this story where he's done this interesting thing. It's actually the buyer of the house who went to the Wall Street Journal and told them what happened. What Elon did for him. The filmmaker stated that he actually spent summers in the Bel Air home with his uncle, and his experiences in the house made him intimately familiar with the property. He wanted to buy it. As it is with many stories involving Elon Musk, Walker Perlman's journey into acquiring his late uncle's home started with a dose of misinformation. According to the late actor's nephew, he was initially told the home had been demolished, which made him, sad that this had happened because he wanted to potentially own it. It was a dream of his to own it one day. But while he was in the neighborhood one day with his wife, the filmmaker was pleasantly surprised to see that the house was actually still standing. Tesla CEO Elon Musk owned the home at the time, and a large party was underway. Quite surprisingly, the security guard in the property opened the gate for the couple so that Walker Perlman and Hunter could have a look inside. It took about a year later when Walker Perlman saw the tweet that would change the fate of Wilder's quirky, strange, but unique Bel Air home. Musk's stipulation was perfect for the filmmaker, as he would want to keep the house and not demolish it. However, there was one issue. He didn't have the money. The home had appeared on ForSaleByOwner.com, with an asking price of $9.5 million US, which was really a reasonable price considering the property. Walker Perlman knew that he personally could not afford the property's $9.5 million asking price. But Musk's tweet provided him with some optimism that something could potentially be arranged between him and the billionaire. 4 months of negotiations began. Fortunately for the filmmaker, the Tesla CEO proved quite understanding, with Musk bringing down the price of the home to $7 million from its original price of $9.5 million. But it gets more interesting here. Musk agreed to a long-form deed of trust and assignment of rents. He actually agreed to lend Walker Perlman and Hunter $6.7 million of the $7 million asking price. In other words, he agreed to lend them the entire price. They only had to pay $300,000, that is a deposit, and then he would lend them all of the rest of the money. So in other words, they were able to move into a house listed for $9.5 million with only a $300,000 down payment. That is insane. And now Musk acts as the bank to this couple, which of course it doesn't really benefit him, does it? Really, it's just helping them out. How in any way does this benefit a billionaire worth $200 billion to become a bank for a couple for a $6.7 million loan? It doesn't. This was a gesture that was well appreciated by Walker Perlman. He could have sold it for so much more. His sensitivity to me cannot be overstated, he said. Hunter, for her part, told the Journal that she is quite thrilled to have the chance to reside in such a beautiful home, in a neighborhood that she and her husband would otherwise not be able to afford. It's magic, she said. Interestingly enough, Walker Perlman closed the sale with Musk in October of 2020. It was a perfect timing, since the filmmaker was shooting a movie called The Requiem Boogie, which was produced by his production company, Harlem Hollywood. Wilder's home ultimately became the set for the film, which is a rather autobiographical tale that features a middle-aged former child actor mourning the loss of his movie star father. Considering the personal nature of the story, having the movie shot in the Wilder's Bel Air home is something that was likely a fairly spiritual experience for Walker Perlman. And I think this just goes to show, not all billionaires are evil, and trying to paint them that way doesn't mean it's true. I think as humans, we like to make things black and white. Rich people, bad. Money, bad. And really, it's not always the case. I mean, for example, Musk did just give nearly $6 billion to charity. But it's little acts like this, I think, that maybe are even more important in showing someone's character. Obviously, Musk knew that it would get out that he'd given $6 billion to charity. But nothing was said for 2 years, or nearly 2 years, about this small, kind deed that he did for someone. Now, people often try to portray Musk as being in it for the money, despite stories like this. I mean, okay, it's true that sometimes Musk can put his foot in his mouth when it comes to political comments and saying some kind of wacky things. But the truth is, I think when it comes down to it, he is a good person, just like you and me, really. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. Have you heard of any other billionaires doing little deeds like this that they don't mention to anyone else and they just try to keep hidden? Let me know of those kinds of stories because I'd love to hear more of them. Thanks for watching and I'll see you again on the next one. Bye-bye.